Welcome to the workout on Scaffolding for Success, Believing is Seeing. We have done other workouts on belief and how important it is. This is going to focus on how belief is a part of your scaffolding process that makes bariatric surgery successful for you. So let's remind ourselves of the scaffolding process. Scaffolding allows us to create a safe and orderly remodel of ourselves, both emotionally and physically. It provides stability. It helps us identify resources. It creates a safety net. It gives us the security to try new things, new behaviors, new friendships. And it allows us to connect with and explore our own identity with courage and with authenticity. So it becomes very important that we have the scaffolding pieces in place in order to be successful here. So a lot of times as we look at belief, when we think of changing our behaviors, we don't really think about the role belief plays in it. But I want to talk about that a little bit. I've got it outlined with belief, code of living, and behavior. And we're talking about changing behavior here. We're talking about changing the way we relate to food, how we eat food, how we think about food, and that's a behavior. These behaviors are often created in our belief system here. So a lot of times we work on the behavior. We work from the outside to the inside. Our behavior then can change our code of living, which in turn changes our belief about things. And I'll give you some examples in just a minute. But there's a faster way to do this, and that is from the inside out. If we change our belief, we change our code of living, and then we change our behavior. For example, I had a client once who was a really, really good athlete in college. She had played soccer and she really loved it. But then she went to med school and didn't have time to do it anymore. Well, she was trying to change her behavior with food because she wasn't an athlete and she ate like an athlete. So because she didn't change her behavior, she started to put on weight. And then her behavior was also justified by her belief that she was a doctor and she needed to be able to make those food decisions, and she knew how to do it and she knew what they should be, darn it, and she didn't want to be told what to do. And so over the years she put on some weight and she couldn't get it off. And as we explored her beliefs and her behaviors, and her code of living was, well, I should be able to do what I want to do. I'm a doctor and I know how to be healthy, so I should be able to do what I want to do. And so these all played together to keep her stuck and overweight. Her behavior never changed because her basic belief never changed. So when she changed her belief changed to, I want to be an athlete. I want to eat like an athlete. I want to exercise like an athlete. I want to take care of my body like an athlete, like I did in college when I played soccer. And when she changed her belief to, I'm an athlete, it changed her code of living to, well, I can't choose what I want to eat and how much I want to eat without consequence. So her code changed to, well, I'll eat like an athlete, so my code of living will be I'll eat sparingly and healthily. And then her behavior, of course, completely changed. Just by changing these two things, it remodeled her behavior. And it went so fast comparatively. We'd been working on this for over a year, maybe a year and a half. When she changed this belief, in 3 months, she saw results on the scale, in how she felt, and in her own stamina. So in order to do this, we have to understand the relationship between our belief and truth, because our beliefs may not be true, but we sure do believe they are. We really do believe that our beliefs are truth. So beliefs are our brain's way of making sense of the world, and we get lots of expectations because we're trying to bring predictability into our environment. And when those expectations are met, we feel good. When they're not, we feel really bad. The Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman said, for some of our most important beliefs, we have no evidence at all except that people we love and trust hold these beliefs. Considering how little we know, the confidence we have in our beliefs is preposterous, and it is also essential. And the reason that we want to have high confidence in our belief system is because it's the way our brain shortcuts processing information. If our brain had to process every iota of information and sort it into truth and error, we would never get anything else done. Our brain just kind of shortcuts, kind of chunks information and puts it in true or false. and our belief is made that way. A lot of times our beliefs are made in childhood, and they're even valid for that time in our life, but may not be valid for the present. And for example, I was always taught you do your work and then you play. Well, as an adult, if I did my work before I played, all of my work before I played, I would never play. And I like to play. So I would be a very, very unhappy person as an adult if I didn't change my belief about that truth that my mom taught me. So just like our bodies want to be in homeostasis, want to have a valid point that it's used to being at, our brains do that too. So when we learn something, it's sometimes hard to retain that new information because our brain wants to go back to the old way until it gets used to the new way. And our identity is tied up in our belief system, and so it sometimes gets hard to change our identity into a truer belief, or our belief into a truer truth, without really sitting down and evaluating what is and isn't true. And because we're used to believing a certain way about ourselves, it really becomes important that we understand what our beliefs are, and if there's a belief that is more true, that would serve us better. So as we're working on beliefs, we really want to be evaluating that all the time. I love this saying, question your beliefs, they create the life you're living. Absolutely right. We won't try something if we don't believe we're going to be successful, or don't believe that we're going to have a pretty good chance of success, because it would just be a waste of time and resources. I once tried to keep track of how many things I did in a day that were based on my beliefs, and I stopped after 220, and that was only in about 2 to 3 hours. So everything that we do is based on belief. So here are some questions to ask yourself, and these are super important as we're trying to track our beliefs and change the ones that are not working for us, not fact-based for us, and are not really our highest truth. First of all, are they fact-based? Second, where did they originate? Did they originate in childhood when we had fewer resources or the rules were a little different? How old do you feel when you think of those beliefs? If you feel younger than your age, they probably are from childhood. Are they getting you to your goal? And that's probably the most important one. It may be true, but are they getting you to your goal? Is there another way to think about things that would be just as valid? And if there is, would it serve you better? So the assignment for today's workout is to answer these questions. What old belief is holding me back? So start there. What one do you keep bumping into? In my family, we were not really into, my mother was into exercise, but nobody else really was. And so she went and did her thing, and we all cheered her on, but nobody was really into it but her. And we sort of had a belief that our family doesn't really do that. Good for other people, but our family doesn't really do that. Is it fact-based? Well, it was in our family. But exercise became sort of a thing that, because it wasn't done in our family, it wasn't supposed to be done. And of course, that's not fact-based. It originated in childhood. How old did I feel when I thought about that belief? Probably about 8 to 10. Does this belief help me reach my goal? No. If my goal is to be fit and healthy, that is not a good goal for me. And is there another way to think about things that would be just as valid? Yes. The way I started to think about it was my mom was really smart. She was really brave, and she was really wise. And I wanted to emulate her rather than my family mythology. And in doing so, I feel a lot better, a lot more fit, and a lot healthier. So just go into that reflection workout and ask yourself those questions. Be sure to write them down, because again, your brain is going to forget what you know, and so it's important to go back and write it down until you remember what you learned, so that you can know what you learned. Enjoy your workout. If you want to go back to the other videos about belief, they're linked in the notes, and you can go back and look at those for further information about beliefs. Have a great day. Enjoy your workout.